All right. Let's get money. Let's do the countdown. We got threes, we got twos, we got ones, and that means we are on set today, live and back in action. Welcome, Say Something family. It's good to have y'all. My boy Mitch to the left, enjoying tonight's game real quick, soaking it in before we got ready for today's show. But as you guys know, before we do anything, we like to get into our quick check-in, our daily, how are you, or what's going on. So if you got time, send a text. Go ahead, look to your right, look to your left, say what's going on, check in with somebody if you can. We're about to do so. So, Mitch, how you doing? Let the people know.
Hey, I'm doing good. Just celebrated a birthday, so that was really nice. Had a little party over at the crib. Family and friends came through.
Yes, sir.
It was a nice time. So that was the highlight of my time since the last podcast. Just ready to get back to these playoffs. Ready to talk about some MLB and whatever else we got going.
Right. Yeah. Playoffs been crazy. Things are wild. I've definitely been chilling. I'm ready to go for the show today. Not a huge check-in because I'm just feeling good. I'm ready to talk. And other than that, I've been thinking a lot about the Dubs off season, which as these shows progress, we will obviously go into. But my week has been good, man. I'm just doing the internship and that's it. And then this is my last week there. So this coming week. So excited to close out with some of the youth. Another year in the books. It's always some good memories made.
Yeah.
So, always a little tough to walk away, but, ready for my next challenge, ready for what's next, and always ready for another podcast.
Let's do it.
Shout out to Reek behind the cam. Always beasting through something. My boy just had a little COVID shot. You know how those things will make you feel good one day.
Knock you down.
Come slap you up the next day. So, that's what we dealt with recently with that COVID shot for him. So, always happy to see my boy back there, and he's feeling good, off the arm. The arm is healing back. So there's a possible silver lining in the COVID shot. So we want a little silent clap, a golf clap, all of that for my boy.
Stay strong, Reed.
Cheers to good health, man. Cheers to good health, my brother. On to today's agenda. Obviously, since last time, we gave you some shorts on the MLB. He kind of gave y'all some updates on divisions. I thought we'd give him a little bit of time, as usual, to do, his little roundabout on just what's going on in the league. And so since we didn't have time last time, we got to put it here at the top. So I'm going to let him take it away, whatever he's got. And then I got a little special question for him before we move on to the NBA today. So what you got for us today in the MLB?
All right, man. I mean, we still got the same leaders as last time. The New York Yankees on top of the AL East, along with the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox backing them up. I'm surprised about that. I would think the Red Sox, after the additions they made, would have a better season so far. But still the beginning of the season, only 50 games in, so there's plenty of time for them to come back through. The Detroit Tigers in the AL Central taking care of business with the Guardians behind them and the Twins holding up strong. And in the AL West, we got Seattle beating out Astros right now, but it's always a close race. Seattle seems to always choke it at the end of the season, and the Astros just swoop in all the time. So
always, dude.
We'll see what's going on there. Still the Texas Rangers, big question marks. What are they going to do moving forward? This is a team that, on paper, you would think would be dominating out there, but it's just not equaling wins right now. They are 25-27. Only the A's at 22-29 are doing worse. So maybe they'll start making some trades, maybe go younger. Marcus not doing so well to start out the season, but there's plenty of time to turn it around.
Right.
So hopefully something can happen. There's going to be a lot of shakeup in the AL West always. And on the National League side, the Philadelphia Phillies, with that pitching rotation that they have and the veterans and Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, they're going to be a team that's always playoff bound, always going to be on the top of the NL. They're 32-18, the best record in the NL right now. So the Chicago Cubs in the NL Central, led by new addition Kyle Tucker, really holding solid. Pete Crow Armstrong, a young guy on their team, really killing it right now. And they're just playing some really good baseball, and they're dominating. And the St. Louis Cardinals are in second place, but they're pretty far behind with 3 games. But like we say, so much more time in this season.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, we got your boys NL West,
Too
the Dodgers on top.
Tough division,
but
dude.
1.5 games back, we got the Giants holding up strong. Man, what a surprise, right? All
No,
these
for real,
players just
for
coming
real.
together. Willie Adames, a good addition.
Mhm.
Jung
Clubhouse.
Ho Lee going crazy for you guys at the top of the
Mhm.
lineup. Man, the
Super
pitching
good
holding
hitter.
up solid. So
Yep.
it's nice to see some good baseball out here in the Bay. That's
Mm.
definitely refreshing. And along with good teams, you have good players.
Mm-hmm.
We got Aaron Judge leading the league in
What's
batting
new?
average, batting .396 right now.
Whew.
Is he going to be able to bat .400 this season?
Ted Williams.
Absolutely wild.
Ted
That'd
Williams.
be on some Ted Williams stuff. I mean, who knows? We got Freddie Freeman right behind him, batting .368. Couple of absolute hitting machines
What's
out
new
there.
with that guy too? You know,
Right?
Nothing.
That's all I do is
Nothing.
hit. That's what I'm here for. A nice surprise at the top is as well as Jacob Wilson for the Oakland Athletics. He's been .342 as a very, very young player. So that's exciting to see for a team that's still struggling, trying to figure out how its youth is going to progress through the season. On top of the home run list, because everybody loves the long ball, we got Kyle Schwarber and Shohei Ohtani on the top of that. 17 home runs each. Aaron Judge right behind him with 16. So Aaron Judge this whole time is going to be going for the Triple Crown. And with the way he hits, he can definitely do it for sure. At the top of RBIs, a surprise, we got Rafael Devers at the start that he had, which was pretty damn terrible. He now has 47 RBIs. And for the Cubs, they have two guys on the top of the list in Seiya Suzuki and Pete Crow Armstrong, 46 and 45 RBIs apiece. Two guys who are absolutely carrying the Cubs right now, and that's why they have such a good record. Stolen bases for the Chicago White Sox, nothing exciting, but Luis Robert, 18 stolen bases right now. So it looks like he's building himself up maybe to be a trade target for a couple of contending teams. That'd be kind of nice because he's kind of in no man's land playing in Chicago for the White Sox. They're going nowhere fast. So it's probably better for them to trade away, get some assets, get some draft picks, really try and start over there because any of these veterans right now are really not helping. On the pitching side, we got Brandon Pfaadt of all guys. Somebody who was a top prospect for the last few years for the Arizona Diamondbacks, finally coming to fruition, 7 wins on the top of the league. And then behind him, we got Carlos Rodon for the New York Yankees.
Shoving again.
Along with his partner, Max Fried. So you see the Yankees with good hitting, good pitching, lots of wins, lots of good counting stats out there, a lot to go around. So we got 2 Yankees on the top, and that's why they're on the top of their AL East. Next, we got Max Fried and Kodai Senga. They got the best ERAs in the league right now. They got a 1.29 one for Max Fried, and then for Kodai Senga, a 1.45 ERA. So both of them really dominating both teams, leading their respective divisions, and it's no surprise. And last but not least, we got our closers right now. Andres Munoz for the Seattle Mariners is absolutely shutting it down every chance he gets. It's been a guy who, over the last few years, they've wondered, should we put him in as a closer? Should we keep him as a setup man? Seems like they finally given him the reins, and he's taking full control. As well, also in the West, we got Robert Suarez for the San Diego Padres with 16 saves as well. He's killing it too. The Padres are always a contending team in the NL West. Not doing as good as the Dodgers and the Giants, but he's holding it down whenever it comes into the clutch time in the ninth. And last but not least, to shout him out, Kyle Finnegan for the Washington Nationals has been shutting it down for them. Somewhat of a surprise. He's been up and down through the last couple of seasons, but right now on the top of the list. So it's nice to see him doing his thing. Really, the strikeouts comes down to Mackenzie Gore. Yeah. He's shutting it down. Has 93 strikeouts.
Killing.
The closest person to him is Zach Wheeler. So if you want to see the strikeout king, if you want to watch a game where there's going to be a lot of punch outs, watch the Nationals and watch Mackenzie Gore because he's another person who's been a top prospect for a while, and now he's finally getting his chance to shine. So overall, the league's been looking good. A big shout out to my man Ronald Acuna. Came back. First pitch of the game. First pitch back in a year. Hits an absolute bomb.
Bum, bum,
A lot of excitement watching him moving forward. A couple other guys, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, have started really swinging it. So watch the Braves. They're going to be coming on strong towards the middle of the season onto the All-Star break as well. So keep watching. Keep your eye out for the players that you like. Let us know who you want us to talk about, who you want us to watch, and who you think is the best in the league. Do you think Aaron Judge is that guy? Do you think it's Shohei Ohtani? Let us know.
Absolutely. And speaking of best player, that's perfect before we segue on to the NBA. I saw a little segment today from ESPN where they were talking about Mike Trout basically being, the last 10 years, he has been known as the best player in the league pretty much. And maybe not the last 10 from, this last year, but, he went on a 10-year spree where he's pretty much that guy. And so they were basically saying, people have given him the crown as the generational guy of what would be our generation pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
He's 33. And so now, because he's kind of floundered out with injury and lately hasn't really put a full season together in a while, people are asking, due to Mookie Betts being similar in terms of hits stats, counting stats, and in terms of time in the league, is there a chance that he overtakes him? How do you feel about that conversation? I know we talked a little bit about it prior to the show, but what is your take on that in terms of them two as the choice? And then obviously, if you have anything else to add in, you add that
in. I think for me, one of the biggest differences between the two is the situation, right? Both of these dudes are absolute studs. You can't take anything away from either of them, but one guy started his career with the Red Sox during the great time with a lot of good players, and then moved to the Dodgers with a lot of good players and a lot of solid team.
Beating everybody.
Whereas you have Mike Trout has played for the Angels his whole career. I mean, if there's any more clear sign, Shohei plays for a few years with the Angels.
Right.
Does basically the same thing that Mike Trout does, is absolutely rake, do his thing.
Yep.
And then he's like, let me see what's up on the other side of the town.
Yeah.
Dodgers.
Yeah.
Oh, first year? Okay. World Series? 50 home runs? 50 stolen bases? Okay. Yeah, so it really helps when you have a good team. So I think that's been the biggest deficit for Mike Trout, and I think everybody's kind of known that this whole time. So really it's a question of, hey, Mike, why didn't you want to maybe get up out of there? You there was better situations out there for you, and in baseball, you can't pay a guy as much as you want. So other teams would have wanted you. Maybe that would have amplified some of these stats that are crazy for him. He has great years of 30 home runs, 40 RBIs, 30 home runs, 100, 100 plus RBIs, 49 stolen bases. But there's a few peak years with a team that's doing absolutely nothing. 111 RBIs. Imagine a team that's dominant,
right?
Rather than
playing playoff baseball.
Yeah, playing meaningful baseball with guys getting on in front of you all the time, rather than having to be the first batting leadoff or batting second, because we just need you to get on because nobody else really does, and we hope other people hit you in.
Right.
You see how it took its toll. 2012, 49 stolen bases. 2013, 33 stolen bases.
Right.
2014, 16. 2015, 11.
Yep.
2016, 30. 2017, 22. It's it just has fluctuated, and I don't think it's because of his talent level. Obviously, injuries have always played a much bigger level on Mike Trout's career than it has Mookie Betts. But could some of these years have gone better for him with a better team, with less responsibility, with less amount of pitchers going right at you because there's nobody behind you to be worried about. You know what I mean? So there's just so many factors with two guys who are great hitters where it's as good as Mookie Betts has been, I feel like maybe if Mike Trout had been on better teams with more protection, more help, and maybe a few less injuries, maybe Mike Trout was the better specimen and the better overall baseball player out there. But
for sure.
At the end of the day, we're talking about two guys who are Hall of Famers. I think that for me is the biggest difference when it comes to these two guys. When we're talking about guys our age who are this is the guy that is the staple. these guys can both be up there, and there's Mount Rushmores, and I feel like it could fluctuate on opinion on one thing or the other, where it's like him sometimes, or maybe the other guy this time, or there's other great players during this time period as well. We got guys like Freddie Freeman out there as well. We got Manny Machado's out there.
Absolutely.
We got, as Les talked about, Nolan Arenado's. All these guys are guys who can compete with these guys and have been on the same level. I mean, Bryce Harper as well. Yeah, there was always the Mike Trout versus Bryce Harper comparison from their start of their career. So, I mean, there's a lot of good talent out there from our years. I feel like that. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt is another one. Career hitters that have been in the league that are right now doing their thing. But definitely Mookie Betts and Mike Trout are on the top of that list. I think that you can't deny it. The careers that they've had and the type of plays that we've seen them make, they're definitely up there.
Yeah, and played multiple positions. I mean, they've done it all. And so it's pretty much, to me, I mean, you explained it very well, but it's pretty much like the winner. Do you take the winner or do you take the prototype, right? Like Mike Trout, I believe, is more, if you could build a baseball player, that's kind of what you'd want it to look like, at least if you're talking hitter, and outfielder, of course, as well. But like a just do it all outfield power hitter, feel like that's what you'd want him to look like. And then Mookie's just a guy who
crazy athlete,
is one of these guys who can play all over the diamond, and then also has just won everywhere he went. Just never been losing. So can't go wrong with either, and I feel like I agree though in terms of just if you're going to give the nod to somebody who, to his peers and to everybody else, was undoubtedly, for a good period of time, just a level above everybody else. And just like Derek was saying, on a team where everybody knew they just didn't really have to worry about him, I think that would give Mike Trout the nod for me, and I remember all those years of fantasy baseball when he was in his prime, and it's, he was very, very special. There's very few guys that were doing that, and nowadays it's even tough to see that combination of power, speed, average just on a guarantee, But yeah, I wish, what's crazy is, before we move on, it's just wild that they did try. I mean, can you think about all the guys that they signed to try to help, and just all of them ended up being bad contracts, like Rendon, or you can go back to like Josh Hamilton, then you got Albert Pujols, then you got Rendon. I mean, they tried so, and you got Ohtani. I mean, they tried a ton of things, and really the pitching ended up, for the most part, always letting them down.
Yeah.
And ever since they had, what was that? Jared Weaver was probably the last guy that was actually legit over there, where it was like, all right, that dude's a boy. But anyway, good conversation. It just came up in the ESPN article, so it's always good to pass it by my boy and see what he thinks. And so now we'll move on to the NBA. Quick playoff update. Wow. Tonight, obviously, we can now confirm the Knicks and the Timberwolves are in trouble.
Cooked.
They are in trouble. They are in trouble. They're both down 0-2. They're in different situations, right? The Knicks just lost 0-2 at home, right? And Minnesota just lost 0-2 at OKC. However, I feel like they're both in the same predicament, where it's like, I actually think Indiana is less hard for the Knicks to go win at, in comparison to the fact that, like, I just don't think it'll be very hard to play in Minnesota.
Right.
Like, I just don't think that's a thing OKC is going to be worried about. Now, that doesn't mean Minnesota won't play better at home. I'm just saying in terms of, like, an intimidation factor and getting the OKC off their game, I don't see that as a spot that can do that. And whereas I just believe the Knicks, the way their season's gone, I almost have more faith in them when they're in these kind of predicaments, when they're down. When they're up, I'm more shook for them. Now, again, just like I said with the other series, this could easily be a sweep. Very, very easily. So by no means am I sitting here, speaking like, oh, the Knicks are where they want to be. No. All I'm saying is that when it comes to, I think a lot of people have completely written it off. I don't feel the same way about Indiana as a facility and playing there for,
That's
when it comes to the Knicks.
Baby. Hoosier.
Look, it's a wild spot. They get crazy. I'm not saying that it's not a spot that's going to sell out, go nuts. I'm just saying in terms of really getting in people's heads, the intimidation factor for the Knicks. I don't know if that will play into it as much as people think. Whereas both of these games were very close. Excuse me. Both these games were very close, and the reality is, I think if the Knicks had won or lost today, I would have felt like they were in trouble. Just because Indiana's playing their style of ball, and at no point in this series have you ever really felt like the Knicks were safe, and they proved that really in game one, where man, they were up 20, things looked good. Everybody was sitting there tweeting about finally Indiana's played a team that's healthy, getting spanked, and then, we got Reggie 2.0, even though it was a premature choke, which is insane. Go ahead and hit that 2, and then now you can't use that anymore. But I appreciate him, coming out to the media and saying, that would have been aura farming. It's kind of funny. Got a chuckle out of it. But yeah, so no matter what, they're implementing the way they want to play, right? Yeah. And I think that Indiana and the Thunder, but I think Indiana more than any team, and I've been saying this for a while, knows their identity more firmly than their opponents, and that's showed up in the majority of these matchups. Like, all these teams that they're playing, it's just like they know what they want to do.
Yeah.
They know what they want to do. And at all times, they are ready to try to do that. They're not going to get thrown off their game. They're going to keep doing it. And everything is about being fast-paced with them, so mistakes aren't really, it's better to just put them to the back of your memory as quick as possible because of how quick they play, right? You just need a short memory.
Get the ball, keep it moving.
Boom, right? And so that the team is just very dangerous when they're able to implement their playing style as the defining factor in the game flow. And they've been able to do that in a lot of these matchups. And as you've seen in these first 2 games, I believe that is what has impacted, the final score and made it the way it is because, once they get their game rolling, the Knicks, they're not sure what they want to do, and so we'll see. We'll see. How do you feel about these 2 series? I know you were kind of giving thumbs down, but how do you feel about these 2 series?
No, just to go off with what you're saying, it doesn't seem like the Knicks have a true identity. I mean, obviously Jalen Brunson is the number one option out there, but when it comes to, again, that second guy in Cat, where it's like the same kind of thing that it was with Anthony Edwards, where it's like, you're pretty shaky when you gotta be the other guy. Like if the main guy isn't doing this thing, you're supposed to hold it down until he comes back.
It's supposed to be guaranteed.
And it's an up and down game with you. Whereas, like you're saying, the Pacers, they're kind of all just playing every time. So it could be your night one night or your night the next night. As we see tonight was Pascal Siakam's night, 39 points. But, you've seen the last games, Tyrese Halliburton has been the guy, or Naismith has been the guy to end the games and stuff like that. So it really just anybody's turn can come up. Whereas the Knicks, they're kind of relying on a few guys. And then OG Anunoby is held up pretty well. But it's really like, hey, is Jalen Brunson going to take care of things down the road, or is it going to be Cat to help him out? Where are they going to get it from? So it's a different kind of operation, just like you said. With the series, I think pretty similar to you in the sense of like, even though the Pacers are up 2-0, I think it could be either, a sweep, or it could be a back and forth series and the Knicks take the next 2 games. I think they're close enough. And as you saw with the 20-point lead and losing it, obviously the Knicks can play with the Pacers and be dominant against them. So it's about, hey, we got the early lead. Can we hold it down through the rest of the game rather than just like taking a real easy step back and acting like it's just always going to stay a 20-point lead when the Pacers play at a frenetic pace the whole entire time. It could easily go from 20 to 8 points in 2 minutes. So they just need to be more on point and holding down that defense. I know they always rely on only like 6 or 7 guys throughout a whole game. They play a ton of minutes. We have Michael Bridges had 45. He plays every game. Jalen Brunson, 39. So Carl Anthony, only 28. He must have been in foul trouble or something. I don't know what's going on with that, buddy. But you need to be in 30-plus range every game if you really want to be that guy. But, even Mitchell Robinson was a little beat up tonight. He hurt himself a little bit. So there's still a lot of questions in this series compared to what I think about the other series where – if you watched before the podcast, I kind of knew this was going to happen. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure other people saw this too, but I was like, if we had Steph, we probably win the series damn near. Or it's like, we put up a way better fight than the way the Timberwolves have been playing lately. So I knew with a team like OKC, you got to be perfect.
Oh, bro,
you got to be on your game.
Bro,
like I knew. So if we're thinking about if we had been the team to play them, I know it's like I'm thinking.
No, we
got to stop that. Yeah, we got to play perfect if we're gonna beat them. And we
have to stop everybody but Shea. I don't care what Shea does, but we wouldn't be able to and that's what would scare me.
Second chance points.
Oh my god,
with losing that. Oh my god! If we're doing it to the Timberwolves, we would have just been ruined.
What would we do with that?
The performance I saw the Timberwolves put up against our Steph-less team, I was like, "There's no way this team can compete with OKC." In my opinion, they weren't shooting well enough. There was no cohesion on the team. The defense wasn't as strong as it was last season. Doesn't even seem like the focus is there as much as it's been before in the past. So I think they got a lot of questions. And is Ant-Man somebody who can really step up and make the team better, not just have a great performance for himself?
Right.
Because even now, he's not really having great performances. So he needs to build the team, bring the team together, because that's what it's going to take to beat OKC, because they're not only talented up front, they got depth, and they're all young as well. So the stars for the Timberwolves really got to step up if they're going to be any kind of a chance of winning any games during the series, because as of right now, the way OKC plays, it's consistent.
Yeah.
Like you see the same thing every game. There's no letdown. So I think it could easily be a sweep in that series, where I don't see any chance for the T-Wolves, where as the Knicks, I see them still having a chance, even though they are down 2-0.
For sure. And if I'm Minnesota, I'm throwing Julius Randle to the 5. Gobert, just come on over here for a bit. There's series where he can matter. I mean, what he did to us and what he did to the Lakers is no joke.
Yeah.
This ain't it. Look, we going to shift it down. We appreciate you. You've done well. Depending on what the finals looks like, we will reassess.
Might call you back on.
We will reassess. For now, you're going to have to just get that mat, because I know you don't want to sit the whole game. So get the mat, because you're 7 foot. Go ahead and lay down over there, because we'll get the rest of these guys. Jaden McDaniels is already guarding whoever, so he can slide in at the 4. You got I'm not even joking at all.
2 for 11.
I'm putting
6 points last game. Atrocious.
Yeah, atrocious. We're putting in. Yeah, I'm leaving. What's that dude? Alexander Walker. I'm leaving him. I'm leaving him in the game to guard. And yeah, I mean, I'm not joking with this. You can't be that team. There's no spacing. I don't know what they got to do, but I know the one thing that you got to do is what I just said. So you got to get Gobert out, and then the rest of the spacing might work itself out. I don't know how Connolly will play into it. I don't know, but you got to get Gobert out of there. Defensively, he's getting demolished. I mean, this looks exactly like Dallas last year. And you can't sit around and go, well, now he'll figure it out. No, we already watched that and cooked you for a whole offseason. Don't do it again. All right. Who do you think is the best player left in the playoffs? I mean, that might be a silly question at this point, because we've been gassing so many players.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously Shai Glizzy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a second.
He's taking the best team in the playoffs, and leading them.
Yep.
So I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as well as winning the MVP, is most likely going to win playoffs MVP, and most likely going to be the finals MVP.
Yep.
As well as just he has the perfect team in terms of we're all the same age.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What?
We're all solid ass basketball players.
Yeah.
But you could be the best one. You could just do it, and we'll just be the other guys. We're totally fine. Chet Holmgren is supposed to be a Steph. He's supposed to be a unicorn.
Star.
He's seemed totally fine with being
He's Vic level.
He's
like
he's supposed to be
level.
Wembanyama's level. But he's I'm chilling.
He's I'm really not worried about it.
I'm good back here. He's damn near being KD when he was on the Warriors,
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, Steph is the star, but
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm just big
and
big
maybe
points all
maybe
day, like,
even less because like honestly,
yeah,
with
even
Jalen,
less
it's
because
like
Jalen's crazy with it.
it's just like it's wow. It's just he's literally like I guess I'll defend.
Right. Have we heard from his brother?
Who?
He's in the league,
yeah,
right?
he's in Utah.
Sometimes it's not everybody in the family.
Yeah.
But,
No, I mean,
time,
I think he could still, Utah's got a lot to figure out. And he came out younger than his brother. He came out after his freshman year.
Mhm.
Jalen, I think, was a junior or something like that. But no shade.
It's not even shade. It's more just like I'm speaking on. I'm speaking on Jalen in terms of like, did anybody know
that
this was about it? Like, there's on some like, we didn't even like, we knew James Harden was raw.
No, I remember like laughing when they drafted him.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, what? Oh, they be taking anybody. But I'm not gonna lie, whatever they were cooking over there, because Pod was there too at the same time. They had something going.
Mm-hmm.
They had
Steve Nash was over there helping them out or something.
Something going.
But yeah, I think Shai Gilgeous is the best player. I think Anthony Edwards is being shown who's the main guy right now.
Right.
He's cooking them.
Yeah.
Cooking them all the time.
Yeah.
This team has no chance. And I mean, Halliburton has really been showing out this playoffs.
Right.
Can't knock him.
Right. I mean, Siakam tonight is wow.
Yeah. Siakam
39 and he had 21 at half, I think.
What was the number? The field goal percent? Like, it was
15 for 23.
15 for 23.
3 for 5 from 3. Just belt to blank. You know exactly what.
Every fast break, he was going down court.
Just
one, he was going up strong.
And honestly, this cat, I hate him, but Aaron Naismith has just been exactly what they need at all times. Dude, playing defense. He's not missing a 3. 2 for 3 tonight again after last night, I think, or the other night he was 6 for 8 or something crazy, 7 for 8, wilding.
And just to speak on Siakam, I feel like he's somebody who from the Warriors, we like have talked about, maybe he's somebody we're trying to get. And like watching him, I'm just like, Kuminga, you just step it up and just be that already. Right. Like that should be you. That should be your comp. Like that's your dude right there. I feel like if you're striving for something next year, if you want that 20-something million for sure to really prove it.
Right.
Put up that 20 and 7 like that boy.
Right.
Siakam be putting up.
Right.
Because we don't need to trade you if you really gonna start showing out.
Right. And you're way more athletic. I don't want to hear about him having more jumper. And you being like, he might shoot a little better. Okay. Yeah, but you're jumping out the gym. And we saw it in the Minnesota thing too. I mean, we could talk a little bit about that actually before we leave the NBA section. But why don't we talk about it right now? And then I have one more section. So with Kuminga being in such a weird situation and with him showing what he showed in the Minnesota series, which to me was a real glimpse of like, I think more than anything, if you just took the expectations off of the basketball game for a second and allowed it not to be so high strung all the time, I think that's what Kuminga looks like.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a dude who, sure, he's figuring things out. He needs that space too. But also, when there's nobody else to sub in for him, when there's nobody, you know what I mean? Like, when we don't have any other scoring options, there's no Steph, so we need buckets.
We be handing it to him.
Dude, and he just be sitting there. He's in my opinion, other than Steph, he's the best tosser grenade to. Because he can still hit a 3, but also you'll toss him a grenade and he'll blow by somebody and right? And he's literally, what's crazy to me is if we could just teach our spacing better, he's the most dangerous baseline dude we have, and when he does it right, he's literally unstoppable. Because he's quick enough to beat him to the gap, and he's way too athletic to be not timing it correctly when you jump. And so, God, my question is, with all that being said, what do you think his outlook is for this offseason? And if you're the Warriors, do you believe it's in both sides' best interest to keep him or to move forward and let him go to another team?
All right, so looking back at the series, he had 18 in the game, 3 or game 2.
Mm-hmm.
He had 23 in game 4.
Mm-hmm.
In game 5, he had 26.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly he can make it happen. 11 to 23 for the 26.
Mm-hmm.
6 to 13 for the 23, which is great. And then he had, what was it for the other game? 8 of 11 for 18. And all these are off the bench as well.
Off the bench.
So I think he's somebody, if moving forward we decide to start handing them the reins in the sense of like, yeah, when it's not Steph, we need you to start going crazy. Like when Jimmy starts driving to the hole and you're either cutting or he's the person I've been working on my jumper now that they can kick out to. Because they're going to leave you open as of right now.
Oh, they will.
So we need you shooting that shot. We've seen it before, and we saw it over here in the playoffs as well. 1 for 3 in a game, 0 for 2 in another game, and then 3 for 9. We got to improve those numbers because clearly you're going to be open. That's all Jimmy has been doing. That's what he's been showing in the playoffs. I'm willing to kick it. Hey, if I'm open for the layup, I'm going for it, but I need somebody to kick out or somebody making the back cut to pass it and dump it off. Yeah, he's going to be more the playmaker. He's going to get his points when he needs to, but it's mostly going to be you, Kuminga. He's getting to the age where into the body ailments where it's like, yo, I need somebody else to take the reins. My IQ is on a million. My game planning is great, and I can score when I need to, when I'm open, and when I can create things. But if you want the old Jimmy, the going to the basket every time, taking hard hits and jumping back up every time, I think I'd rather kick out, not take a hit, and just move around a little bit. So, Kuminga, you're going to be the guy, hopefully next year, that Steve Kerr and the other guys in the office, or if we decide to keep him, are going to say, hey, when Steph's not going, you're going to have to be the guy, and we're going to need you to now be making better decisions rather than just a 50-50 on, I'm going to run straight at this guy, and I might get it, or I might just run right through and throw it away and give it to the other team for an easy bucket on the other end. So the IQ needs to step up, and the shot-making ability, as well as the shot-taking confidence, needs to improve in this next year if you're really going to show that the $20 million plus a year will be worth it. Like, it's not really like something that anybody can predict. It's more just a hope with what you're going to start getting paid that, hey, you're not going to take it for granted. You're going to be like, hey, I'm going to show you why I am worth this. And hopefully on my next contract, when I'm probably only, 27?
Right.
I'll get like a $50 million contract or plus. You know what I mean? So that would really help the end of Steph's career. That would help the Warriors moving forward if he could be that guy. Like I was just saying before, if you can pull a Pascal Siakam and start getting to that level, even at this early age, that would really show like that true potential that everybody has been talking about throughout the years. So it's really the decision of, is it going to be a decision? Are we going to trade and try and make something happen and see what we can spend for him? Or are we going to say, hey man, here's this bag. Like, don't be Jordan Poole. Just keep improving and show that it was worth it and that was a great investment.
Right. No, I'm 100% backing that. I want to see him stay. I think that series proved to me that if there's one who's got to go, it'd be Moody over him. And that's just in terms of like a bona fide star down the road. Like, I think Kuminga showed in that series why people drafted it, looked at him as a top 5 potential pick in that draft. And, somebody who, for the most part, is just a bad matchup when it comes to people figuring out who's going to guard him, what position. His decision-making is always what holds him back. But, I believe that if he can find the right number, and if I think we can find a suitable position for him, and otherwise that would be on Kerr. It'd be sad to see Moses go, but when I'm saying that like tying him in a first for like a Mark Williams, right? And go ahead and, take what we'll do the medical that the Lakers didn't do, right? And we'll go ahead and get you over here. And I could see something like that happening in this offseason, attach a 1 to him, and it'd be sad to see him, but they clearly want that kind of profile player, 3-and-D guy, a wing. And we definitely need the size.
Definitely, 100%. That's a must this season coming up. I mean, it's been obvious for years. The only time we've been winning championships is when we had solid guys 7 foot or above.
Literally. Literally. So real fast, where do you think Giannis and KD end up real fast? Just like a one-team prediction for each.
KD, man, I think it would be crazy to see him go to Houston. I think
Oh,
that
man.
would be
That
wild.
timeline would be the wildest thing ever.
I think that would be
Like
pretty
two different
dope.
vortexes.
And then Giannis, I mean, I feel like it could definitely happen. It would just be a shock to see him go to the Spurs.
Bro.
But with the way they play, I could see it happening. But I could also see him still just being in Milwaukee because maybe Milwaukee's not willing to try and break it apart yet.
Mhm.
They still believe that they could put some pieces around.
Even without Dame.
Even
though,
without
it's-
Dame. So, I don't know. Yeah, they have so many assets tied up in trades. Like all their picks are gone.
Mhm.
So they're going to need some assets from other teams that are worth it because even if they suck, all their picks are going other places. So they're going to want to still be good.
Right.
So Milwaukee's not – it's not 100% that they'll just be like, yep, you're out of here. It's like, nah, we'll be a 500 team.
Right.
Like we'll be a play-in team. But
Right.
without you, we might suck. And
Right.
that means these other teams are going to get really good picks,
Right.
not us. So
Right.
that's a big decision they have to make.
Huge.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough. So I know they're going to be looking for a lot of draft picks. There's teams like,
Houston and the Spurs are really the
Houston and the
most.
Spurs are the
OKC
most.
as well, but like.
But yeah, that just.
You send Giannis to OKC, we're all.
What are we doing? Yeah. I mean, again, I guess that's how
We're
people
all-
felt when KD came to the Warriors.
Yeah.
But that would just be wild and, I don't know, lack of parity.
Yeah.
But I wasn't mad when KD came to the
No,
Warriors. So
not at all.
let them do what they want to do. Just in terms of what we know trade assets
Right.
are, the OKC Thunder are in position to still even get like Caden Boozer or Cameron Boozer or
Right.
something like that, or AJ DeBonsa. Like, that's how many draft picks they have that are going to be in the lottery coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, my prediction, I mean, both the Texas teams, I think, are, in my opinion, actually vying for the spot for Giannis, where it's like in terms of true fit, in terms of assets, in terms of still winning, winnability, I think those are the two best fits. And then I think that we're the dark horse for both of them. I think that it'd be really crazy to see how it would work out. And I think that with the money, I think it's more realistic the more I've looked at it to see KD come our way, just because I think that his value has been tanking a lot in comparison to just where Giannis's is going to be. Like, no matter what with Giannis, we're pretty much gonna end up having to give up our young players and our assets.
And it had to be like Draymond.
And have, yeah, exactly. Whereas with KD, it's like we could go into the luxury, and take him on with the rest of this squad with just the rest of his contract, right? His contract is about to run out, you know what I mean? And so it wouldn't be a long-term, like us staying in the luxury, which is really what the teams are concerned about, because the more you stay, the more it grows, blah, 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 blah. But that's a thought that's been thrown around, and I do believe Joe Lacob has said it, that if he ever does believe that he's putting a roster together that is viable of winning a championship or worthy of winning a championship, he has no problem with Abrams.
Yeah.
No problem with Abrams. So, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Giannis is far-fetched, but I think that if he were to say, I want to play with Steph Curry, I think that the Bucks would have to oblige just because of what he's meant to the organization. But I think that it would be rare to see Giannis come out and publicly say anything. So there's that dual-edged sword to it, where I do think if he did, they would, do whatever he said. But I also think that the likelihood of him actually saying what he might feel isn't really there. But I do think Giannis would want control if he does decide to leave. We haven't heard that yet, but I think he would want control. And then KD, I think that the more both the Phoenix Suns and KD are going to look at it, not a lot of teams got money right now. The only team that really has money is the Nets. Yeah. He's not going back to the Nets.
Neither is Giannis.
He's not going back to the Nets. And Giannis is the only guy that could go to the Nets if he's thinking, I want to get this.
Still the East.
And I want to get this mega contract, and I want to make a team my own, because they still haven't had a winner there. They still, So, that I think they're also a dark horse for Giannis, just because they have the complete space and the assets to where they could take it on without sending one contract out.
Yeah,
which is nuts. But I think KD will look around the league and realize I don't think Houston's gonna pony up a lot for you because you're 37, my boy. You know what I'm saying? So the timeline don't match. Like, sure, you might help next year, but at what cost, right? And then you look around at some of these other teams that we're talking about. Spurs, I don't think so, right? You look at the Thunder. You sure ain't going back there, right? And so we're starting to run out of teams that could even do it, right? So if he is going to get moved, I would see us as a dark horse for sure.
You heard it here first.
Yes, Sirski, to say something first taker. Lastly, before we move on from the NBA, Mike Dunleavy finally addressed that we need more size. Hallelujah. He publicly said it. Nothing new to the fan base. Whoop-de-doodly-doo. Get it done, Mike. Now that you've said it publicly, get it done. Also, the V's got their first dub. Shout out to them.
Up, baby.
They got their first dub against Washington. The V's doing their thing. And right now, they're currently up with 2 minutes and 53 seconds left over the Sparks. 73-67. So
let's go.
Looking for their second win with a roster that, honestly, we don't know how many wins they're going to get. So we'll take any one of them. On to the NFL.
Oh, boy.
The Niners and the Raiders. As you know, these are the two teams that we both follow. And so we'll have you all year, have you all off season. We got y'all. And so today we're just going to take a quick look to end today's show at some news that's happened and then also schedule review, followed by record prediction. Bop, bop, and bop. All right. So NFL, we'll start with the Niners.
Yes, sir.
Fred Warner gets a 3-year extension, $63 million, making him the most expensive linebacker in the league. I'm going to give a clap because I believe that is well worth it. Every penny, good money spent. If you know anything about All-Pro Fred, I mean, the nickname says it all, right? All-Pro, that's a prestigious honor in the league to get yearly. If you're known to go get that yearly, you're a dog. I think around the league, he's pretty much known as the best interior linebacker. He's one of my favorite players. And so, I'm just grateful that we lost a lot of faces this year, right? But he's one that would just be so heartbreaking if he wasn't around for his career, So I want all his prime, and I'll even take him after his prime. So sign him. That money is worth it, man. I'm so happy 5-4 will be back with us. Amazing, amazing player. Also the other thing is we're going to do stat predictions for our first rounders.
Okay.
So my stat prediction for Michael Williams, I got him at 7 sacks. I got him at 8.5 tackles for loss.
Big numbers,
right? Yeah, that's way too high. I'm gonna say 4.5. I'm gonna cut that in half. 4.5. 4.5 is realistic. He's a really good run stopper, which is really why I said the high number at first, because he might end up dwarfing with his tackles for loss in comparison to the sacks. But I do think that he'll have a lot of opportunities for the sack just because Nick Bosa is going to eat all that attention. So 7 sacks. We're going to go with 4.5 tackles for loss. And we're going to go with 32 tackles on the year.
Okay.
32 overall tackles on the year. And we're going to go with, let's call it 12 QB pressures.
Okay.
13 QB pressures. I'll keep it to where it's at least close to half of his sacks. So that's my Michael Williams prediction real fast. As you go over your quick Genty stats.
So for me, Ashton Genty, I think we're going to be using him quite a bit. Pete Carroll likes to run through the offense.
He's going to be beastie.
So I think somewhere around like 250, 270 in their attempts for Ashton Genty. He's going to be getting a lot of attempts. I think he'll probably be close to the top 5 in attempts this season. So I'm hoping around 1,100 yards
nice.
Would be a solid season.
Hey now.
And 6 touchdowns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good.
I think he's going to have a really solid year. I think with Geno running the offense under Pete Carroll, they know each other well. I think we have good receivers. I think Jacoby Myers, doesn't drop a ball. We have Brock Bowers down here, one of the
Beast.
best tight ends already after his
Mhm.
rookie season. So I think there's going to be plenty of options. I also think within those yards, I'm thinking more of that in terms of like in totality. I think he could really get a few passing attempts as well.
For sure.
A lot of screen action. So I think
So are
he's
you
somebody.
saying total yards 1,100, or are you saying 1,100 rush yards?
I think 1,100 rush yards.
What would you say is his total yards?
Man, ideally, like that would be nasty, like 1,400
Ooh, okay.
with like 7 touchdowns with like 1 receiving. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one or
yeah,
two, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
1
Yeah,
or 2
yeah.
receiving touchdowns.
Okay.
I mean,
So
again,
1,400.
this is obviously like
no, but this is
a high
predictions.
potential, but this is what I'm hoping from him. I think he really could be a splash player. I do think our offense is improved, especially with the coaching staff, having Chip Kelly in there as well, being the offensive coordinator. I think they're just going to be able to unlock the
Line
offense.
should be a lot better.
Yeah, the line is more cohesive now. We got some guys. So I think, especially with Powers coming back, I think he's somebody who's going to hold down the line at the very beginning.
And then Geno, that's a big upgrade.
Yeah, Geno's definitely a huge upgrade. I mean, somebody who, has been a Pro Bowler, somebody who has really just aired it out and had 4,000, 5,000 yard seasons. So he's somebody who's much more reliable than the career backups that we've been playing with. So yeah, I see a lot of good things happening. I think the offense is really going to open up, and it's really going to be, can our defense and the guys like Darian Porter that we got, can they all step up alongside of our superstar Max Crosby?
He's getting Richard Sherman comps, apparently.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought he looked kind of like Sauce Gardner, but I guess he's getting Richard Sherman comps.
It would be dope, but it's like at the same time, we've had the Nnamdi Asamoahs when he was good and like those kind of guys, and it's like they just don't throw to that side, and the other side sucks so bad that they just get they're still a Pro Bowler, but it's only because they just don't get the ball thrown their way because they're just so much better than anybody else there is to throw by.
Right.
So hopefully the whole team as a collective, especially on the defensive side, is learning from the guys who are pretty good to set a high standard for our defense, because it looks like the offense is starting to come around.
Facts.
On paper, at least.
Right.
We haven't seen it, but it seems like it's starting to come around.
Definitely on paper, it looks wet. We don't even have to question about it looking better. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So, all right, on the schedule review for the Niners, and then I'll do my record prediction and then throw it right back to you to do the same for the Raiders. All right, we have week 1, Seattle. I will say, looking at this, and I did see upon the release, if you guys don't know, where you finish in the prior year does dictate who you play the next year, right? So if you finish top of the division, you're taking on a lot of the top of the division, top 2 teams in other divisions, right? And if you're finishing bottom, you're taking on the bottom half, right? So we finished, if you didn't know, in the bottom of the NFC West last year, which is crazy. Not used to that, but what it does do for the following year, at least the silver lining in it all, is it makes our schedule theoretically a lot easier. So I did look at this and I went, whoa, this looks different than I'm used to, because we have been winning our division in the past. So normally our schedule comes out and I'm like, ooh. But this year looks a little different. So week 1, we got Seattle. Always a tough matchup, but Seattle looks a lot different. As Mitch mentioned, Geno no longer there.
Right.
Geno's gone.
He gone.
So yeah, I don't even, who's starting over there right now? Like
for
Seattle? Is it Milroe? Is it? I have no idea, but
who knows?
Exactly. So, and then they traded DK Metcalf. So that team looks a lot different. A lot different. They still have their running backs. They have like 3 running backs, I think, now that are at least something to think about. Kenneth Walker, Chardonnay, and somebody else. But we should get on them. I mean, I don't think that new look Seattle team should have much for us. That's 1-0. I'm going to give us a dub. Next is New Orleans. This team as well changed a lot since last year, right? This is a team that Derek Carr retired. They have, what's the guy they drafted? I mean, that guy looks, Tyler Slow or something like Slow. He looks, please play him against us. I don't even remember his last name, but it is something like that. Tyler Slow or something. Slaw. I'm saying it wrong, but it's Slough.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, he was damn near. They made him a first-round pick, but whatever. We're going to cook him. That's 2-0. Week 3, we got Arizona. Arizona, to me, is a team that could be a lot more dangerous than they've been in the past, at least the last couple years. They could resemble more closely to what we remember from those first couple of years with Kyler, where they had some dangerous offensive teams and some good defenses. So I think that's the first game where we'll be tested, but I'm gonna still give us the edge because it's at our house. So we're 3-0 at this point. Then we go take on Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I mean, I think we should win that game, but at the end of the day, Jacksonville always has players that are talented. They just never do anything with it.
Right.
They have Travis Hunter now into the mix. Is T Law a legit quarterback? I mean, we just don't know that yet. Right? Like he's put
consistent for a whole season.
Please, like he's put up a lot of good stats. He's done some good things, and he's also looked awful at times, kind of giving Jameis Winston vibes. Like, are you that guy that they thought was a generational talent, or are you just another guy? I think you got about another year or so to tell. Otherwise,
I mean, if he can't do it with Travis Hunter out there,
get him gone.
That's a just throw it up and go get it kind of guy.
Right.
So
get him
he
going.
can put up some numbers for you.
Get him going. So I'm gonna say at that point we're 4-0. Barring any mistakes or injuries. Week 5 we take on the Rams at the Rams. If you know anything about SoFi, that's our crib. That's basically what they call Levi South. We live in there. We love it there. But the Rams should be good. I mean, I don't see why the Rams won't be good this year. Losing Cup, I think they upgraded. They went and got Adams. Stafford is nasty work to deal with. Kyron Williams?
Yeah.
Nasty.
He's crazy. He's came out of nowhere.
Nasty. Blake Corum is a problem.
And they barely even have utilized Blake Corum
at all. So
Devontae Adams is about to be
they got
crazy
some good.
for them.
They got some good young pass rushers. Brandon Fisk and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they got some guys over there that are very, very talented. So I'll go ahead and say that's an L. That's gonna be the first L.
He's
right
like,
there.
maybe we won't go undefeated.
Nah, we ain't going undefeated. So we're 4-1. But I do think we'll get them on the way back. Don't you worry, faithful. Next, we got Week 6, Tampa Bay. Okay, this is at Tampa Bay. This is a team that's going to be good, assuming that they don't have injuries, assuming that Godwin's back. But they drafted Emeka Egbuka, whatever his name is. So, I mean, they have a guy
Ohio
to
State
slot
boys.
right in immediately. And then they have McMillan from Washington last year. And then they have Mike Evans, their trusty, go get him and do everything. So that team should be good, and Baker Mayfield has sure revived his career. But I'm still going to say we're going to get it. I think our defense is going to be big improved.
That's a good game, though.
It will be. It will be. That's always a good game. Yeah. And I will say, though, we do usually have the edge against the Bucs.
Old team.
We do usually have the edge against them. But so I'm going to give it to us. I'm going to say that we'll bounce back after. I'm not going to say we're going to go 2 losses in a row. Next, we're going to go to, or Atlanta's coming to our house. That's a Sunday night game. I think Atlanta is a team that I just don't know enough about to not say that we're going to win it. I know their defense was the worst in the league pretty much last year. They got no pressure, but they've added Jalen Walker, added some pieces that should help that pass rush. But again, until they show me, that Penix can play, until they show me that Drake London and Kyle Pitts, all these uber talented Bijan Robinson, until they show me they can really put it together. They could be so beat up by that week, they could be 0-7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at that point, we're taking another dub. That's going to put us at 6-1. Next, we take on Houston. This will be really rough. Houston, again, though, these teams are teams where they could be good, or by this time, it could be a totally different story. None of these are made men, as they call it.
Can he make a comeback? Can CJ Stroud be that guy?
Right.
Or is he?
And can those receivers stay healthy?
Or is he
my
Lord.
Or
not Deshaun,
but
Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, but can those receivers stay healthy? I mean, Tank Dell, the whole cohort of them, D'Amico Collins, Stephon Diggs, everybody went down last year. And then Mixon did his thing. So,
Mixon was solid.
We'll see.
They got a squatty.
So I'm going to go ahead and for the sake of this season, I'm going to say they are what we think they can be. And I'm going to say that because we go to their crib, D'Amico Ryans coaches very well. He knows us very well. I'm going to say they get us.
Ooh.
Next, we go to New York, Week 9. We're now 7-2. We're spanking. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're 6-2 because we're about to be 7-2.
Mm-hmm.
We spanked New York. New York has no idea what's going on. Jackson Dart's not ready for that limelight. Abdul Carter should be a threat, but not enough to make anything change in any of these seasons that are going to matter for us in the near future. So we're going to spank them. I don't see them doing much against us. Now comes back to Los Angeles. We're going to stay hot. We're going to go ahead and take that win when they come back. We're going to need it too.
Right.
So it's going to be a must grab. We're going to go ahead and grab it. So that's going to go ahead and put us at 8-2 as we're leaving week 10. Week 11, we go to Arizona. I'm gonna go ahead and say that they get one against us. I think that
Arizona.
If I'm gonna say
Tyler
that,
cooking.
if I'm gonna say that Los Angeles could have got one, I think Arizona's roster is nasty. I think they got nothing out of Marvin Harrison last year. I think he should be a lot better.
Step it up.
And that Trey McBride is a beast. He's gonna be work, and then their defense is ever improving, and they draft really well. Like I always look at their drafts, I'm like. They got Will Johnson this year in the second. I mean, they did some nice things. So I can see them being very improved. So I'm going to say they get us on one. So that's going to put us at 8-3. Carolina, we'll get them. I mean, I feel like, at the end of the day. We got
those guys. They
have Teotaro McMillan now, so they should have more of a threat. Bryce definitely stepped up towards the end of the year, no doubt. But
still,
I don't know if that's not enough. Not enough.
Against a good team.
And C-Mac should be cooking this year, and then him against his old team.
I need that.
Oh, please. Next, we go to Cleveland. Who knows who's even on Cleveland by that time? Week 13.
Shedeur said he's going to start.
Week 13, they got a boatload of quarterbacks. They got 5 quarterbacks over there that they think can play, or maybe that shows that they think none of them can play. Mm-hmm. Who knows? But who knows who's going to be on that team, man. But I'm going to give us the dub. I don't see no real threats. They moved on from Nick Chubb. Jerry Jeudy is who he is. Unless this rookie, the dude that they got, Judkins from Ohio State is the Timothy. Next coming of AP. They're not doing nothing. So we'll go ahead and snag that up right there. That's going to put us at 10-3. We're going to our bye, week 14. 10-3. Tennessee, we come out of the bye. I don't think Cam Ward got enough for us. I don't think he has enough weapons. And I don't even know who's on that defense. So we'll go ahead and take that. That's going to be 11-3. Next, Indianapolis, at Indianapolis. Again, don't know who their quarterback's going to be. Mm-hmm. Don't know who will be out there at this time. They have some talent. If Jonathan Taylor's playing like we know he can, they're always a team that can sneak you. Right. But I'm not going to count sneaks on this, so we're going to go grab that. It wasn't too hard, Indy. Don't worry about it. We candy from a baby. So that's going to put us at 13-3. That takes us into week 17, which is Chicago. I would say I think this is going to be tougher than people think. I think, but again, this is one of these things where they go through such long seasons, and the way their division works, they could easily be the last team in the division. Mm-hmm. But if I'm going to say there's a squeaker loss, I'd say that's the squeaker loss. But otherwise, I most likely stick to my guns. But I'll say that that's a squeaker loss. So that puts us at 13-4, and then we take on.
That's it, right? 17.
Well, they have for some reason 18.
Was there a bye?
To be decided flex game.
I don't know that.
But we are supposed to play everybody in our division twice.
Right.
And we only played Seattle once.
Weird.
So maybe that's because there's the bye. So maybe I'm tripping. Maybe because then it's week 18, so that would be 17. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we end in 13-4.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. We're ending 13-4. And again, a lot of that has to do with this light schedule. But I think our bottom floor, I think, is 10-6. I think our what you should expect is maybe right in between what I said and 10-6. Mm-hmm. And then, if we really overachieve, obviously you're looking at something like 14-3, those numbers might swap. That's overachieving, but that's a lot of testament to this schedule, right? These teams are just, at least on paper, not good.
Okay. We'll see. There's been a lot of shakeup in Santa Clara.
Yeah. So 13-4. That's what I'm going with. 13-4.
High hopes over there in Santa Clara.
High hopes. That would get us not only playoff bound, but that would put us in the shot for the first.
Tires. Can we give it another go?
Yeah. All it takes is the ignition, baby.
Well, from the Raiders side, I got a little bit less expectations, but something that's been better than the years that we've had. Game 1, we'll start off with the Patriots. I think we could take care of them. Drake May, Ramondre Stevenson, they just got Stephon Diggs. But I think we're enough. I don't know if their offense has been cohesive enough. I don't know if they understand what they're doing quite yet. I don't know if the team has come together. And I think we got a better chance of getting there game 1, taking it. And we got a lot of excitement behind our team. So I think week 1 against a Patriots team, even though they'll be scheming well, I think we can take care of business. On the week 2, we got the Chargers. Chargers got a good team as well. Justin Herbert.
Your division is tough.
They just got Najee Harris. They got Ladd McConkey, Mike Williams.
Omarion Hampton.
Woo! So they got a good squad. But I think at the beginning of the season, we take game 1 against them. So we start off 2 wins, 2-0 for the Raiders. Week 3, moving on, we got the Washington Commanders. This is where I think we're taking our first L. Jaden Daniels and the boys taking the next step. They also have the addition of your boy Deebo Samuels. So they got a solid team. Yeah, Scary Terry's out there. Brian Robinson, hopefully if he's healthy. Austin Eckler, another good player out there for them. So I think that's going to be the first L. I think they're going to just continue on from their success last season and be a dominant team moving forward. Next week, we got the Bears that you talked about earlier. We got Caleb, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, lots of star power.
They improved a lot.
But I think we can take this one away from them. I think we can get this win, start 3-1, moving on into week 4, or what do we got? Week 5, we'll have the Indianapolis Colts. RIP that man, Jim Irsay. That's going to be a tough part of their season. Are they going to be able to rally behind that? Or
65 too.
Yeah, it's going to be something tough. Like you said, they got Daniel Jones. Is Anthony Richardson going to be healthy? Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, a good receiving core along with Jonathan Taylor and Khalil Herbert. We'll see how good they are, but I think we can get that win. So that leaves us at 4-1 to start the season.
Talking about not having high hopes. What is it?
No, again, this to me it has to do with the teams and the time that we have to play them because things can change really quickly. Whereas we got the Titans, who had the number 1 pick with Cam Ward, Tony Pollard. They got Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, another good addition for them. But I think with the inexperience, I think Cam gets overwhelmed by our defense. Hopefully, with the way we've been playing, the way I have us at 4-1. I think we'll keep rolling and end up 5-1. But then we'll run into the Chiefs in the next week, and I think that's where we'll take our next L. Patrick Mahomes and the boys. I mean, like you said earlier, it's a tough division. These teams are they going to get Rashee Rice back? When is he going to come back? He's going to be somebody who's absolute stud for them. Isaiah Pacheco always been doing his thing, and just that team's always likely to go 15-2 or 14-3 each season. They just always find a way. So that leaves us at, I believe, 5-2. Then we got the Jags and the Broncos. I think the Jags, we get the win because I'm not sure how well their young core is going to do. Like you talked about earlier, they have Travis Hunter now, but J-Law, are you going to be the guy who's going to turn into a superstar for your team and take it to the playoffs and be a contender rather than a pretender? Next, we got the Browns. I think this is where our woes begin. I think they're a team in the middle of a season where we're in my prediction, we're kind of rolling, that we potentially play against them. I believe it may be in it's at Las Vegas. I feel like we can have like a false sense of comfort at that game, and they kind of just do a rushing attack and we just kind of have a defensive letdown in that game. And so I would say we lose that game to the Browns. I think they can scheme up a very good defense against us to slow us down. And knowing the Raiders and their past, especially over the recent years, we have been kind of known to have a great start and then things kind of fumble for us. And I see that happening because then the next week we have the Chargers for the second time seeing them. And I think this time it's an L. I think we lose this game. I think the Chargers are just more in control at this point in the season for them. I think they're keeping up with us in terms of record, even though I say we're doing pretty solid already. So that leaves us at 6-3 or 6-4. Then we got the Broncos. I think at that point, the Broncos with the team that they have will be a team that squeaks out a win against us to bring us to 6-5. The next week we have the Eagles. Eagles, no joke, going to be coming out strong. I don't see them wavering against us. We're already kind of teetering on this 3-game losing streak. I think we lose again, and we are 7-7 at that point. And then I'm hoping that the end of this season, we have the Texans, the Giants, and the Chiefs. And we end up each year playing the Chiefs really well. So I think at the end of the season, we'll be wanting to rally. And I think because playing a Giants team where I believe we get that win the week before, and the Texans to be a tough game that we bounce back from our 4-game skid against, that is a team that could potentially be doing good, that we just get our get back and we rally that game and rally towards the end of the season with a weaker Giants team and then a Chiefs team that we usually play very well against throughout the season regardless. So that would leave us at a 10-7 record to end the season, and I think that's something that's super reasonable. May not happen in the wins and the games that I said they would, but I think 10-7 is a reasonable record for us at the end of the year. But I also could see that flipping and end up being a 7-10 season as well. So that's kind of where I see the Raiders in between the 10-7 and 7-10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the way, I meant 11-6 because I think I said 10-6. That would have made 16.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that wraps up today's show. We really appreciate y'all being here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're going to have everything as the NFL season really kicks up and gets rolling, and we'll have coverage throughout the whole season. We're very excited for it. Let us know right now what you think the prediction is. If you're part of the Raiders fan base, go ahead and put down what you think you guys' record going to be. If you think you're part of the faithful, go ahead and place what you think we might go ahead and get this year. You know, it's all love on both sides, but I'd love to hear your opinions on where you think we're going to finish.
And also just let us know who your favorite team is. Who are you guys watching? Who are you looking out for? Give us some of your predictions in the comments for your own team and for your rookies that are going to be starting out this season. Give us some predictions on who you think could even win Rookie of the Year.
Yep. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you know anybody else that likes sports, make sure to let them know. We're over here talking some good stuff. We will see y'all next week. Peace and happiness to y'all.